Part 7. Before Loopy Tunes. It's quite cool to be able to say another before-after-life event in my story started with a project called Loopy Tunes. It's not necessarily the project itself, but where it fits on the timeline. There was a mental turning point that happened when I was away for work just before, that led me to be as focused on love and verisimilitude as I am now. When I moved to London, my father died unexpectedly a month later. Talk about definitive before-after moments. I went back to Virginia, as did a lot of supporting friends and family, and we went through the whole funeral thing. My eulogy was about how my father always expressed how proud of me he was. He was unconditionally supportive of me as I am. I always keep him in mind moving forward. He isn't gone, and through hindsight and my own spiritual journey, I understand the beauty in life he lived, albeit short. If you haven't heard of depersonalization, it's a dissociative disorder where experience and perception could be described as if you weren't actually there in the moment. Things are blurry. It can act as a coping mechanism, often after a traumatic life event. I felt fine, but come on, how fine can you be with something like that happening? A parent passed and I was in a city where I knew literally nobody. From there, forward is a good direction to start from. After time, I gained clarity for the whole situation and improved my mental health. When I went back to London and started freelancing, I was a camera assistant, mirrorless SLR owner-operator, and occasional DOP. I was finding my footing in both the industry and the culture, making friends through film work, photography, and music gigs. I eventually worked my way from mostly a focus puller to mostly a director of photography. I directed small pop promos here and there, some really fun stuff at the time, but I lost track of what I loved most out of it all. I was doing work for the money, and the work that was popping up obviously wasn't directing. I worked on some fantastic sets though, and I have lovely memories with different crews. I came to a point where I was itching to be the one with the vision though, and yeah, ideally the director and the DOP share the vision. That's the whole point of Tsilindr. I want my whole crew to get what's up and be there for the love of the project and the collective. Easier said than done. So I became a bit more picky with the cinematography gigs and made the decision to start directing. And this is where the fun began. I love building crews, and I love working together on a vision. I had the chance to be director of photography for a music video in a sushi restaurant entitled Kyoto. Funny. Heard that name before? Coincidence? No such thing. I loved working closely with the director Ollie Prout to get the look we wanted, working with my gaffer Chris Wilson, and having a fairly full camera team. We had AB camera operators and a focus puller. It sounds silly, but I love directing the photography. Always on the shot list, making sure lighting is 5 steps ahead and ready to go, letting the operators know what shot's coming up. It was a fast-paced music video shoot and we were all killing it. It was rare for me to be DOP with a full camera team, and I love a full crew. More freedom to focus on the vision at hand and be creative. I flow better when I'm not attached to a camera. After Kyoto was the rest of the productions mentioned in the pre-collision segment. I focused more and more on vision and what the client wanted and putting love and passion into everything I do, and making sure it's pure. But in life, there's things that aren't always fun, and I had a big lesson to learn yet. Life can be sunshine and downpour at the same time, and that's okay. I learned that you can't control the weather, and even if you wanted to, that isn't how the world works. We are all our own protagonist, and I learned perspective matters greatly in life. If it's raining, dance like an idiot, but make sure you dry your hair after. If you don't like the rain, be grateful for the cooler weather that follows, or just move to LA or something. Too much sun isn't ideal either, because without rain, we wouldn't have flowers. I learned to see the beauty in this, and once you discover that you can't control the weather, you learn to love each and every day for what it brings.